Tennessee at Florida in the Swamp. 20 years when I was in college in 2003, the last time the University of Tennessee won at the Swamp. And to me, Stephen, all of the pressure is on Tennessee. This is the team that won 11. Which of these two teams won 11 games last year? Which of these two teams has a coach in his third year? Which of these two teams has a veteran quarterback who's been in the system for 3 years that played well at the end of last season, that had hype all offseason? Which of these teams hasn't lost so far this season? Which of these teams has expectations? Which of these teams is favored? To me, this is all the pressure is on Tennessee and Joe Milton to go into the Swamp and do their job. If they go into the Swamp and do their job, which is play efficient football, which Joe Milton has not done so far this season, and they go into the Swamp and they run the football, and their defense plays, let's say, as well as it has in the first 2 weeks, then Tennessee should win the football game and break the streak, exercise the demons, and they should win the game. If Tennessee plays its best game and Florida plays its best game, Florida cannot beat the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee should win the football game, which means all the pressure is on Tennessee.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the fact that Tennessee has not won in a long time in the Swamp just adds to me a lot of intrigue for this game, because back like in the 90s, it sounds like we're like really old here, but like this was the game in the SEC East. Like it was the game that decided the championship. So there's sort of like a little bit of like throwback material here for me, just thinking about some of those great games between the two teams. I'm going to make the argument, though, that I think Florida's the team under the most pressure here. I think based upon what happened in the season opener, Florida was embarrassed, and they should be, because they played a really poor game. Although I think Utah's very good, they played poor, both sides of the ball. I think given what happened last year, 6-7, off to a slow start this year, poor performance in the opener, I think there's got to be a little bit of pressure on Billy Napier and this staff to play a really high quality game. Like maybe Florida doesn't win, but I think they need to play a cleaner game than they did against Utah. Like if they lose by 3 points, they lose on a touchdown, like in the fourth quarter, like I think you can understand that. But I think this is a very high pressure, like kind of backs against the wall moment here for Florida. They get a chance to sort of change the direction of their season if they win this game. And I think it really comes down to two things. They have got to get the running game going better than they did against Utah. They've got to take the pressure off Graham Mertz. So the offensive line, run game has to play better. Mertz has to be way more efficient. And then I'm going to be curious on defense for Florida, because they brought in some transfers to sort of fortify that front. And the secondary, of course, gave up a big play against Utah in the opener. Tennessee really hasn't hit the deep shots. They weren't there against Austin Peay. So they're going to have to force that kind of underneath stuff. Don't give up the big play. This is a good test to see where Florida's defense is after some kind of incomplete data in the opener against Utah. So I actually think Florida's the team under the most pressure just because of where they are as a program. I think Billy Napier just really needs this game because of what happened in the opener.
Yeah, you're wrong. Look, Billy Napier's coaching his 9th SEC football game. Which fan base's message board melts down more with a loss? It's not even close. It's Tennessee.
Tennessee. Fair. That's fair.
It's Tennessee. And Billy Napier has so much more leash, not like from like Heupel's earned a lot more leash. So that's not what I mean to say. I just mean he's further along in his progress. There are expectations around that program this year. There's expectations around Joe Milton. There's expectations around this game. There are no expectations. You just said it. You said they can lose and it's okay. If they can lose and it's okay, to me, that says there's not a lot of pressure on Florida. If I'm Billy Napier, my message to my players, play loose, play fast, play confident, play like there's nothing to lose. Because as you just said, even if they lose, everyone's going to be okay about it. Now, well, if he has a bad 3-year stretch of coaching and they are not good by the end of this year or the end of next year, this will be a game that they circle. Oh, he started 0-2 against Tennessee. No question about that. But there is no immediate response or reaction from like any that has any long-term effect on Billy Napier. He has all of the time to prove it. Tennessee fans think they're supposed to win something this year. And with the streak and the demons and Felipe Frank's ghost wandering around the hallways of the Swamp, like you got to go down there and win when you're the better team. When you're the better team and you have the better quarterback and you have the better coach and you have the better offense, and you have the better defense and you have all the expectations, you have to go win the game. That's it. They got to go win the game. And if I'm Billy Napier, my team is loose, confident, fast, nothing to lose. So to me, if there's one quarterback who is puckered up when that game starts, it ain't Graham Mertz. It's Joe Milton.
My argument for Florida, I guess, would be like thinking about it like a stack. Like if you're Florida, you had a 6-7 season last year. Now you're stacking another you stacked a bad performance against Utah. If you get embarrassed at home by Tennessee, you're starting to stack. Like Napier is trying to sell a vision and sort of a long-term plan here. And I think like he gets the SEC recruiting model and what he needs to do. I just think at some point when you look at what Florida State's doing, you look at what Miami's doing, hope and optimism have to start translating into on-field results at some point. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat by any means, but I think you have to, like, you're trying to sell something. So like your proof of concept can't be 6-7 and 4-8. Like they need some data or like progress to sell to the fan base and stuff. So I think
Tennessee's in the top 10 though. Come on. They're not supposed to win the game. Everyone in the preseason, when we did our predictions, we circled W on this game. The only reason we're even talking about it is because of the Demons and because of the history. That's it. If this was a regular old rivalry game and they'd been split over the last 20 years, like we'd be like Tennessee, easy favorite, 7 points, 8 points. Tennessee goes down there and wins.
So does Tennessee go to the Swamp and win?
If they play their football game, they will. Here's the problem. Joe Milton is 14th out of 14 SEC quarterbacks in yards per attempt. He is 13 in quarterback rating. He's been productive, but he is largely the most efficient quarterback in the SEC so far. That needs to change. And Tennessee fans were touting Orange Bowl Joe the entire offseason. He better show up or they're going to lose.
The game's in Florida, so.
The Swamp. Listen, the other thing that doesn't matter, honestly, we've talked about it a lot, is that history. This is new Tennessee versus new Florida. That's what this is. So I'll take Tennessee to win, but that's only because I think Florida's in some trouble. And bigger picture, like roster-wise. But again, I think I expected that. I think I expected them to be 5-7 and finish 6th in the West or in the East. So I'm kind of just like, this is a loss I already chalked up. So